Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. Now, before I get you guys really excited right now, before I go into this, I just want to let you know that right now, I feel like the content for this particular episode is creme de la creme. I mean, all of them are good, but I think I'm positive, I'm confident what we got going on today is just next level. I'm going to say it's next level outstanding. First of all, Porzingis is out for the season. He tore his ACL. And that means if you don't know what that means yet, I'm going to get into all that. LeBron and Dan Gilbert are beefing on a new level. On a new level. Sources are that Dan Gilbert's tired of LeBron and he's got to go, which means that LeBron is really going to leave. With that, we have the Lakers saying that they're going to focus on the 2019 free agent class. Does that ripple cause another ripple? And then lastly, I got some news for you guys about Derrick Rose's contract with Adidas. You hear about players not making smart investments and smart moves, but not only is he getting paid for not playing, there's something else to his contract that I've never heard of in my entire life. And I personally would like to have his agent when I get to where I need to be. I need his agent because the level of negotiation ability or level of things he reached during his negotiation, out of this world, completely out of this world. But before I get into all that, I have to ask you guys a question. I want to make a quick public service announcement. Listen, I want to make something clear. There's times in your life where you need change, right? And I get it. There's times in your life you need change, and I understand that. This has happened to me twice in the past week. I've been in a store, and I've been in line, and someone has walked up to the cashier and said, "Hey, excuse me, while the drawer is open, can you give me some change for a 20? Okay. Now, we all know why people say that, right? Because when we were younger, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, however old you are, and you would say, "Can I have some change?" And usually the cashier would say, "I can't open my drawer unless it's for a transaction." We've all heard that before because we've asked for change. Really what that means is, no, I don't want to give you change. Because if you couldn't open your drawer unless a transaction was to happen, then how would you balance your drawer randomly during the day? So it's just a lie people say because they don't want to give you change. Now, I feel like a lot of us know that. You know that if you walked up and said, "Hey, while your drawer is open, can you give me change?" You know that person doesn't want to open their drawer to give you change. Yet, you cut everyone in line to ask, "Hey, while your drawer is open, can you give me change?" Now, I want to make something clear. That's not clever. You're not being clever, and you're not being convenient for someone else by saying, "Hey, while your drawer is open," so that you don't have to do extra work by opening it. But while it's convenient for you, can you give me change? No, it's aggressive and it's near robbery. What if we walk past tons of homeless people every day, all day, every day? Some homeless people ask for change. Some of them don't. What if a homeless guy walked up to you in the store and said, "Hey, while the cashier is handing you your change, do you have any change to give me?" Or, you know what? This is better. while the cashier is giving you change, can you go ahead and give me some change so I can get a sandwich? You'd be appalled. You'd say, how dare you come in here and assume that I'm supposed to give you change because I have change? Because not usually, some of us, if a homeless person asks you for change and they say, hey, do you have any change? People say no. Can I have $1? You say no. Do you have an extra $1? You say no. Why? It's your business. But if that homeless person was to run up on you and force you to avoid telling your white lie to get you out of an uncomfortable situation, you'd be incredibly offended. So if you're one of these people that run willy-nilly up to the cashier saying, hey, while your drawer is open, can you give me change? Stop doing that. At least wait in line. At least wait in line, dude. At least wait in line. Period. Because it's happened to me twice where I've been in line and someone's ran up on me like, hey, reaching over the side of the register. Like, bro, that's not something, you're not like dropping off mail. Whatever you're doing, going to the side of that is taken away from my time of being helped. And you know what? Here's the thing. It's not even like I'm offended by waiting, because if I get in the line, I know there's going to be a line. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. But I feel like if you're reaching over something and have to ask someone a question that probably contains more than 4 words, you're being an inconvenience. That's all. That's my PSA for the day. Are you guys ready for this basketball thing? All right, listen, fine. So this is where we're at. The Cavs have lost 16 of their last 20 games. They got ran by 30 the other night, and it's been a significant problem. Now, the way I've felt for a while now was that, they're just being the Cavs, and, the Cavs have some issues or whatever. And they have like these slumps during the season. It just happens. It just happens. Now, here, how do I say this? Now, this might be spun in a way where we can't assume they're going to win the finals just because they've been losing a lot of games. We've been hearing a lot of drama. There's been a lot of locker room stuff. Kevin Love leaving games, and then he got hurt. Then people blaming IT. Then the original beef between J.R. Smith's arrival and Dwayne Wade's arrival, and J.R. Smith working so hard to be a starter, and all that. So we have that, and then we have them losing some games. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, like, I want to say that, so they're not in second place. They're in third place. They're only in third place by, let's say, a couple games. They could slip to fifth. Okay? This is the thing that's going on. However, rumors are, word on the street, whatever. Word on the street is that Dan Gilbert is tired of LeBron, because they wanted LeBron to re-up for so and so many years or whatnot during the summer, but he didn't want to. Why? Because LeBron wants to sign a 1-year contract and keep it moving. That's what he wants to do. He wants to just do that thing and keep it moving. That's what he wants. They say that he's not playing defense, or he's not playing as hard this year or whatever, but he's actually averaging the most minutes that he has averaged since 2010. He's playing the most minutes that he has since 2010. So I'm not going to say he doesn't have any help, but I'm going to say for them to be in third place and him averaging 27. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. For them to be in third place and him averaging 26, 8 and 8, then I'm going to say that it might be an issue. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it might be an issue. So I don't think that LeBron thinks it's the big deal. I genuinely don't think he thinks it's the big deal. And here's the thing. Realistically, people can attack LeBron all they want for saying, oh, well, he didn't re-up for 3 or 5 years, blah, blah, blah. He should re-up. He shouldn't hold them hostage. No, he shouldn't. I'm going to tell you why. This is why. If LeBron signs a long-term contract, that makes the team worth more. Then someone can sell the team, and they'll be worth more. Like, that's basically where it's at. And if LeBron's on the team, and the team is worth like $1 billion more, then Dan Gilbert wins. I don't ever think LeBron or Dan Gilbert want to see each other win. So I highly doubt LeBron's ever going to put himself in the situation to have his future dictated by anybody else. Do you guys remember when, like, before phones had contracts, you can do this now. You can buy your own phone or whatever and put it on a month. You can put it on like a month to month, basically, right? Because it's a month to month contract. Like, I mean, it's not even a contract. It's just an agreement. You pay it during the month you have it. Before, you had to sign the 2-year contract. No one ever wanted to sign the 2-year contract because they might get a better deal, right? That's why phone companies eventually got rid of the 2-year contract. They put them on lease agreements. Why? Because no one wants to be in a contract. So if you didn't want to be in a 2-year contract with your phone, what would make you think LeBron would want to be in a 2-year contract with Cleveland? He doesn't want to be there. With that said, I got a feeling that with all this drama going on, I got a feeling that a lot of us are going to have to take the time to go ahead and apologize to Kyrie. Now, when I say for me to apologize to Kyrie, I mean, I didn't understand why he left. I didn't understand why he wanted to be so zen during his interview and not give us the details. And I take my hat off to him because, like, the truth always comes to light, right? So for him to like not give us any details really and just hang out and sit back and say, you know what, you guys will find out on your own. If all this drama that's happening internally with the Cavs is for real, then I'm not going to say Kyrie looks like a genius because that word is entirely overused. What I will say is Kyrie looks like he knows what he's doing. That's what I'm going to say. And he's not someone that's easily guided by rings and things. Because, I mean, Kyrie could have easily stayed there, kept his head down, made moves, averaged 25, 4-4, and they still would have made it to the finals. But in his mind, he's like, yo, this drama isn't worth it. They're going to want me to extend my contract. We don't know if this guy's going to leave or not. We'll go all the way back to the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Some people are like, hey, he should just be happy to play with LeBron. Should he? Should he? Like, should you? I mean, honestly, should he just be happy to play with LeBron? I mean, he's in his prime, right? So when you say people should be happy to play with LeBron, I feel like you're talking about the new kids on the block, like in the early 2000s that were balling with LeBron. They should be happy to play with LeBron. I mean, you're talking about some of the OG vets that were on the Miami Heat. They should be happy to play with LeBron. But I think that Kyrie, after winning a ring, I think he's too proven enough to just be happy to be somewhere. That's our problem. Sometimes we think that people are so, so successful that we just feel like they should just be grateful for whatever situation they're in. No, you can be grateful. Doesn't mean you just have to lay down. Doesn't work that way. So I tip my hat to Kyrie. I honestly believe when it all comes down to it, I think that this LeBron Cavs situation may be kind of blown out of the water a little bit, but I have an interesting way of looking at this. Here's a theory. I have an interesting way of looking at it as far as maybe LeBron doesn't want to go to the finals, or if he went, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. It's not, I would never tell you how this man is thinking. I wouldn't. I would just tell you a theory that I have of mine that might be kind of true. And if it's not, you can let me know. And if it is, then you can agree. Either way, I got to take a break, and I'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcast needs. I have to make a quick retraction Like not, what's the word? Not retract. Yeah, I have to make a retraction. I said something that was off. I told you guys LeBron's playing the most minutes he has since 2010. That's not true. His career minute average is 38, and he played 38 minutes in 2010. I was looking at his average, not his actual minutes. This season, he's actually playing 36 minutes per game. That's, he hasn't played 36 minutes since 2014. Yeah, so it hasn't been that long. So sorry about that. My apologies. Either way, I have a theory about this whole like LeBron finals thing. My thing is this. So here's the thing. Actually, wait. Let me get into one more thing. There's something going around where they feel like LeBron should, they think since LeBron's going to go, right? We have this theory of, oh, well, make sure you trade him away so you can get something for him before he goes. The problem with that is we've seen that happen before where teams have traded players that are going to go anyway just to get like, I don't know, like a pick or some people, whatever, a draft pick, a water boy, whatever, just because the only person's going to be there for 4 months. So it's like a rental. And we've seen that before with players. But this situation's a little bit different because LeBron's got to waive his no trade clause, and he's not going to do that. He's not going to let you trade him to. He's not going to let you trade him to a team that he doesn't want to go to. It's silly. Also, a team that would trade for him and have to decimate their roster to get him. Well, they wouldn't decimate it because he'd only be there for 4 months. So you have to give a team a player that's worth 4 months of LeBron. So here's the thing. I'm going to give you a player that's guaranteed to take you to the playoffs. You're probably not going to win the finals, but he's guaranteed to take you to the playoffs, and he's going to leave. So what can you give us for that? You can have this guy, John Smith. You can have some candles, and I'll give you a pack of scissors. That's all that it's worth because he's only going to be here for 4 months. I mean, it'd be cool to sell some tickets, right? So like let's random example. Let's say, well, it's not even a guaranteed playoff spot because we're already halfway through the season, right? So, I mean, it's not like LeBron's going to make up for you and win. I mean, however many, I was going to say the Kings, right? But there's no way. Like, I mean, they've won 17 games and the bottom spot in the West is 29 games. Like LeBron's going to fix a 12-point differential that fast? No, it's not going to happen. What could happen if, for example, let's say if since the Clippers are just clearing their whole situation out, there's a possibility that let's say if he went to the Clippers and they traded DeAndre Jordan, just wanted to clear some cap space, just wanted to get rid of everybody. He went to the Clippers, they can make the playoffs because they're not going to make it this year. That'd be a thing. But other than that, there's not any good trades for him. So people are saying just trade him. It's not going to work. He's not going to like waive his no trade clause. And then B, what team is going to just rent him for 4 months and just get rid of stuff? I don't think it's going to happen. Here's my theory. So if LeBron goes to the finals, right? If he goes to the finals and they play the Warriors, we know they're going to lose. Correct? I mean, the trade deadline's tomorrow. We don't really know what could happen. They may get Dre Jordan. They may make some other moves. We don't really know what's going to happen. But, I mean, like, if he goes to the finals, if he does go, they're gonna lose the Warriors, period. It's hands down, it's going to happen. Now, if LeBron does go to the finals and they lose, he's going to be 3-6 in the finals. So he won 3 and then lost 6. It's going to happen. It's inevitable, right? Unless like Durant and Curry, or Durant or Curry, they just retire and say, you know, we don't want to play basketball anymore. I'm tired. I've had enough. I just want to play golf. That's what I want to do. Now, so if LeBron goes and all we care about is the finals record because he's always going to be compared to Jordan. Now, if Michael Jordan didn't lose to the Orlando Magic when he came back to the NBA, and he didn't lose to Orlando Magic, and he went to the finals, he would have lost the Rockets. Regardless of whether you guys know that or not, regardless of whether or not you agree, the MJ that lost to Shaq would have lost to Hakeem Olajuwon in the Rockets because the Rockets were cold. Now, and then MJ would be MJ would be 6-1 in the finals. But he has a perfect record because he didn't make it that year, which is good. It's fine. I'm not saying Michael Jordan avoided it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that there's certain things that happen that stop you from failing on the biggest stage. So LeBron's success has kind of been detrimental to his legacy in a way. You know what? I'm not going to say in a way. To some people, because he's lost in the finals multiple times. People don't look at how hard it is to get to the finals now, how hard he has to play to get there. Nobody cares about that. They just care about how many he's lost because it's constantly on the compared of Jordan's 1,000% winning percentage in the finals. So my theory is that if LeBron doesn't go to the finals, I don't think he cares. I mean, like, why would he care? You know? So, like, what difference would it make if he didn't go? If he didn't go and they didn't make it, then okay. So what? He didn't make it to the finals. I think the most embarrassing thing, not even embarrassing. It wouldn't even be embarrassing. What would be bad is if like they got eliminated in the first round. That'd be pretty bad. That would be bad. Now, if they got eliminated in the first round, I'd be like, oh man, that's pretty ugly. Like that'd be something to shy at. But as long as they make it out the first round and then like they lose, I mean, like whatever. Like, I mean, it doesn't, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but like, I mean, whatever. I feel like I honestly want to say that I believe that him, how do I say this? I believe that him not going in the finals and just losing in like the second round is still better than losing in the finals because he's going to lose in the finals anyway. So that's just something to think about. Like if he doesn't go, then they're fine. They have a whole bunch of things on this trade machine of like different type of things that could fix the Cavs and like keep LeBron there, but I don't really see it happening. So it seems like what they're trying to do is they may just dump the whole team, just get rid of everybody and say, just forget it. We're gonna clear it all out and we're not that concerned about it anymore. And I mean, I don't really knock that completely because I wasn't like the opposite side of that. I felt like, this is how I was feeling. I felt like while you have LeBron there, I would say trade the pick, trade whoever, get somebody in there so you can just make like one final last push to get to the finals or just to sell the tickets, whatever. But if they're of the thought where LeBron isn't really playing and doesn't really care anymore, then I could see how they would say, oh, you know what? Let's just dump this. Let's dump it. Let's get rid of it. And it's that whole Lakers thing where you know people are going to be let go and you know that there's going to be space being made or whatever for certain players. So why would you play that hard? And I feel like what's going on in Cleveland might be the same way where LeBron's 1-year contract things can only go so you can only be comfortable with that for so long, you know, like especially if that's not your people, like if that's not your boy, if that's not your fam, like if you guys aren't friends, you can only be so comfortable with that. Right. So like the whole 1-year thing and him being the best player in the world, I'm going to say he's not holding people hostage, but people don't really know what their futures are. It's like if you apply for a job and then they took you do multiple interviews, they'll say they're going to call you with the offer and it's been like a week and you have other things to do within your life. Like you're not ungrateful that you've interviewed. You're not ungrateful. I mean, even, you know what, even that or like a start date. Like if somebody's like, oh, we'll have the start date for you soon. Like I'm not ungrateful, but geez, like when, like what's happening? And I feel like that's how these players feel. Like, well, if we don't know what you're doing, how do I know how to structure my future? Do I sign for 2 years if you're only going to do one? Like I can't do one. So what do I do? You know, so I feel like everyone's entitled to an opinion about it. I think it's unfair and dismissive to say, you know what, you play with LeBron, just be happy. I don't know. I mean, you can be grateful, but I think you should still have questions to ask. Like as a grown up, you shouldn't just be willy nilly out there just moving around doing whatever. It shouldn't work that way. What I think happened though what I think is interesting about this whole like LeBron to Warriors thing or whatever, I feel like it did make some moves in the water. I feel like it did make some ripples because the Lakers are reportedly focusing on the free agent class of next year. The free agent class of next year is going to include Butler, Kyrie, Klay Thompson, and Kawhi Leonard. Now, they want to do that to like avoid dumping contracts this Thursday. So I guess maybe by saying that, that's going to like encourage players to be a little bit more happy to be there versus thinking like they're going to get traded to random places this Thursday. That could be a thing. But I believe that this LeBron thing had something to do with this. Like not knowing where not knowing what LeBron's going to do in it like this summer. Everyone knows wherever he goes, he's going to do it for a year, and they can focus on that draft class. They can focus on that class that year. Rather than making a massive push for LeBron this summer, they can make a push next summer and have more options, right? Because wherever LeBron goes for this year, he'll be there for 1 year, and then he'll be in that same free agent class of 2019. The free agent class 2019, since there'll be more options, the demand won't be as high, right? I mean, these are pretty good options like Kyrie, Klay, Leonard, and Butler. Those are good options. Now, with LeBron being, I want to say the most significant free agent this summer. I mean, when is he not? But I feel like he could probably ask for billions of dollars, like not figuratively, right? And if there's more free agents, I think the Lakers may have more options. So I feel like this whole situation with them not knowing what he's gonna do, or even the Warriors talking to him, it may have scared the Lakers a little bit. It may have scared them. And at first I was under the impression when I read this story, I thought it said Lakers focusing on draft class of 2019. Like 2019 draft class? Oh, wait. So you guys are gonna tank this year? Like, and next year? Jeez, really? Already you guys are going to tank? I thought I read that completely wrong. I was like, geez, this Lonzo Ball thing is really not working out, right? You guys are just going to tank just off the top? You guys are blatantly going to say you're tanking? Really? We're going to focus on the draft class of 2019. Not 2018, but 19? That's going to be some high-level tanking. But I didn't. That's not, I read it wrong. I read it because I was gonna, this story was gonna be completely different. Good thing I went back and Googled it after I saw the thing on the bottom, because I saved it as free agent class. I saved it as draft class. So luckily I read stuff before telling you guys, like my job. So that's what's going on with the Lakers. Also, I found something else interesting. NBA teams tank. I mean, it happens. I don't know if anyone's blatantly tanking right now. I don't really know if that's happening anymore. I think the Sixers were the last ones to do it. I feel like the Kings are always doing it. So are the Bulls. But I saw like a story on MLB.com the other day where people were saying the whole league is on like a race to the bottom. And they were saying it's affecting the integrity of the league. And I was like, that's interesting that they would like put that out because, I don't want to say it's okay in football and basketball, but it's like you would never see a letter written like that in football or basketball. Like, you guys are affecting the integrity of the league by tanking. Like, nah, B, we're not good, so we just need to tank. When I get back, I got to tell you guys about this Porzingis thing that happened. Actually, you know what? I may have something else to tell you about these Cavs, but this Porzingis thing is going to lead it into a dynasty that's going to blow your mind. So give me a second. I'm going to take a quick break. And then when I get back, I'm going to tell you about how Porzingis is going to create a Knicks dynasty. Be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. Now, I was telling you guys about the whole Cavaliers thing and the trades that might potentially be made to get them better, possibly, but I don't really think that's I highly doubt that we're anywhere near any of that happened. Like I really doubt it, because I think they need to go ahead and just dump everything. Just melt it down, turn it into some type of pot, and just throw it away. Just get rid of it completely. Especially because the Cavs had this like special pick, the Nets pick they could trade. The Nets aren't looking too good, and I feel like where we're at right now, LeBron and Dan Gilbert don't want to do anything to help each other. So I feel like they're probably going to lose in like the second round of the playoffs. Probably the second round, I believe. That's what it looks like. Anyway, this is where we're at with this right now. As promised, I told you that I was going to tell you guys about how Porzingis is going to turn the New York Knicks into a dynasty. Are you guys ready for this? He's going to turn them into a dynasty. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because Porzingis tore his ACL like last night. Porzingis is a promising player. I want to say it's like his third year, give or take. And he's a baller. He was someone that was drafted by Phil Jackson, and everyone laughed. Everyone, no matter what anybody tells you about what they saw on TV or what they see now, everyone laughed. I remember seeing the draft. I remember watching the draft, and he was booed. He got booed. Me personally, since I'm not like a huge fan of drafts, because whoever is good, they're built up by the media, and then if they're not good, they're torn down by the same media that built them up. Which I feel like it's kind of silly, honestly. That's how I feel. But so this is his third season. And he was averaging 22, 6, 1, and 2. Now, here's the thing about this situation. The Knicks were going to make the playoffs this year. From what it looked like, I felt like they were going to make the playoffs. I mean, they were in 11th, but with the East being a little shaky, I feel like they could have made a run. I believe that they were going to make the playoffs, but now they're not. So are they going to tank? They're probably going to lose a lot of games because they lost their star player. Now, something similar to this happened a while ago with the San Antonio Spurs. So the San Antonio Spurs at one point weren't really good. And since that time when they weren't really good, they won 5 championships. 1999, 2003, 2005, 2007, and 2014. Sounds kind of Tom Brady-ish, right? Yeah, this is what happened. So what happened was, how do I explain this? So there was a player named David Robinson, our Hall of Famer, incredible guy, incredible. He had a season where he broke his leg. He broke his leg during the season. And they ended up losing a whole bunch of games. So what ended up happening was, with them losing that many games, they were able to basically draft Tim Duncan in 1997. And the rest is history. Seriously, the rest is just complete history. That's where we're at. After the drafting of Tim Duncan, they had what was called the Twin Towers with David Robinson, who was a complete beast. Like he was a beast. If you saw his college numbers, or just saw him ever playing college, if you ever watch his college highlights, he was a beast. Nobody could stop him. His career numbers were 20 and 10. So Dr. Double-Double, he played forever, and having both of them was a massive issue. He won the championship in 99 and 2003, then he retired. After that, Greg Popovich took complete advantage of the situation, so began to just run a world-class franchise where people don't necessarily get in his way. He has his coaching tree where coaches from his whole system go coach other places and they do well. sometimes. And yeah, it's very Patriot-like. It's kind of in a way where when Drew Bledsoe got hurt and Tom Brady stepped in, but a little bit different. So yeah, serendipitous things that we think are really bad can work themselves out. The reason I say this is going to happen with the Knicks is because Kristaps Porzingis is great. He's absolutely great. Great player. And according to the draft, and there's also this. I just want to make something clear. The Knicks haven't won a championship since 1973. They have not. And to be that big of a deal, to be like a New York team and be garbage for that long, people don't like it. They don't like it at all. They don't like it one bit. So they've been struggling for a while. They signed Carmelo. Remember the whole Carmelo trade where they got rid of like 1,000 players for Carmelo Anthony? Then they weren't really getting what they wanted from Carmelo. So they brought in Phil Jackson as the GM, and they brought in Derek Fisher as the coach, and then still couldn't really get Carmelo to do what they wanted him to do. So they gave him 5 years, $120 million. There's that. That didn't quite work out either. So they've been garbage for a long time. You know what? Let me not say garbage. I'm going to say they've missed expectations. But now they're in a situation where it may seem really bad. It might seem kind of bad that Kristaps Porzingis is hurt. But I want to let you know something. This year's draft, the mock draft so far, just basically like what the 2018 big draft board is looking like. I want to tell you guys who the top 3 players are in the draft. Are you ready? All right, I'm not going to tell you who they are. I'm sorry. I'll tell you who they are, and I'm going to tell you their measurements and size, okay? Okay, check this out. DeAndre Ayton, 7'1", 260. Great defense, great ball movement, can read the floor. Marvin Bagley III, 6'11", 235 from Duke. Left-hand dominant, jump shot a little bit flat, great defense. Luke Doncic, Real Madrid, 6'8". Apparently he's a game-changing ball handler from overseas. Now, when they say that, I'm instantly thinking of what they said about Ricky Rubio, because I mean Ricky Rubio has like great assist numbers, but he's just not his ball handling isn't effective enough to like win you a championship. It's not Steve Nash, Chris Paul-ish where he's just changing the game. But when they say 6'8" ball handler, I immediately think of LeBron. Don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing this guy to LeBron. I'm not saying that. But when people say 6'8" ball handler, I'm like, oh my God, LeBron. But if we're looking at the top 3 players at being 7'1", 6'8", and 6'11", then I mean I'll go to number 4 also. We got Mohamed Bamba, 7 foot, all defensive potential. Most NBA ready of the draft prospects with massive appeal. So I mean, dude, like I'm not gonna say they're gonna do this on purpose. But they also got this kid. They also got this kid, Trae Young from Oklahoma. On TV, he looks like he's a little bit too small. But according to what they say here, it says he's 6'2". Now, I don't know if that's like a 6'2" listing because they want to say he's 6'2", or if he's actually like 5'11", like Isaiah Thomas. So he does look kind of small on a college basketball court, you know. But then again, Steph Curry looked kind of small on the college basketball court, and he's 6'3". If this Trae Young guy is Steph Curry size with an incredible jump shot, you could put a Steph Curry size player that can score you buckets on the Knicks, they're going to be a problem. Now, especially if they can get some twin towers and then make a move to get a guard over there, the Knicks are going to end up having a top secret dynasty. It's going to be top secret. No one's going to know about it. You heard it here first. They got their biggest player going down in injury. They're going to tank the season. They're going to get a 1st through 5th pick, and everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be great. So, I mean, congratulations, Knicks. You did it, B. You guys are finally going to be important. Next year, Knicks, 50 games. Easy. Anyway, this is what I need you guys to do. I need you to go get a notepad, a pen, and a pencil with an eraser, and maybe a Scantron. I don't know if you'll need it or not, but I need you to take notes on the best, most outstanding, most ostentatious contract agreement ever that I've ever heard of. I know there may be other ones in sports that I just don't know a lot about. This one may have leaked because somebody obtained the 40-page contract that Adidas gave Derrick Rose. And I know you guys think that, oh yeah, so if he just in the NBA, he still gets paid money, right? That kinda. There's more to it than that. There is more to it than that, and it's gonna blow your mind. Go get all those supplies and utensils and stencils and school supplies I told you about, and I'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. In case you guys didn't hear, I was just telling you about the Knicks and their top secret dynasty they're building because of Kristaps Porzingis' recent injury. They're going to build a top secret dynasty. Now, as I told you before, basically, I was going to tell you about the best contract negotiation ever. Now, here's the thing. This is where we're at with this. There's kind of some context that you kind of got to understand. So in February 2012, Derrick Rose was the best player, probably, let's say, in the league. And he was the best player in the league, period. Like, hands down, he was the best player in the league. And I know 6 years may not seem that long ago, based on like the NBA landscape. Like, no, LeBron's always been really good. Like, no, but the Warriors, no. At this time, like there was still fallout from LeBron leaving, and LeBron still had like 0 titles. This was in February 2012. So LeBron still didn't have any titles. The Warriors had a losing record. So there wasn't any like Curry time, no Chef Curry with the Pop Boy at the time. The Oklahoma Thunder were they were still they didn't have their personalities yet, right? James Harden wasn't quite a thing yet. Actually, I don't even think James Harden was on the Rockets yet. So the way that you watch James Harden now, that's what Derrick Rose looked like. He was unstoppable. He couldn't shoot like James Harden, but he was unstoppable. Basically, he was as fast as John Wall, but he would just dunk all the time. Well, he was fast as John Wall, but he'd always be at the cup. And he wouldn't take a lot of like 3-pointers because he wasn't like the greatest shooter. But that's the context of the time. He was the best player, period. He just won MVP at 22 years old, the youngest person to ever win MVP. Now, so when they negotiated his contract, they said, okay, basically he got $185 million over the course of 14 years. He has to play a certain amount of years, though, right? That's why he hasn't retired. I mean, he said he doesn't care about the money because he's a basketball player. He loves playing basketball. He's basically a shell of himself, which is unfortunate. I would never call like anyone soft, brittle, or any of those words because, I mean, the game is hard, especially someone like him that plays such high impact. It's hard to get back at that, and I feel bad for him because he's an awesome player. He's great to watch and just great. He was an epic person to watch. Now, so him basically, like, what ended up happening was, like, he's supposed to be getting, like, right now he's still getting paid. Like, he's still getting paid about $12 million per season or whatever. And The royalties are 6.5, $2 million just to play, right? Now, when you look at like the current contracts of NBA players, like Adidas just gave James Harden over $100 million. And prior to that, so this was now where James Harden has been completely epic. And at this time, this was a mega amount for for the guy they thought was going to be James Harden. Let me explain something to you. Now, so we have all that. We have all that, right? We've got all that. Now, you guys hear about players going broke because they give their friends money and they have to take care of this and send this family member money and make sure a friend just has an allowance because they're a friend and things like that. We hear about that pretty often. We hear about that on Broke. We hear about that. It's a massive cliche. We see it on television shows. On the show Ballers, one of his friends, the guy, forget his name, Vernon, he put his friend on a salary of like $20,000 a month just because it's his friend. Derrick Rose's agent, Reggie Rose, his brother, worked out into their negotiation that Derrick Rose's brother would be paid between $250,000 and $300,000 base salary as a consultant. So I don't know how much, I don't know what Reggie Rose makes like being Derrick Rose's manager. I'm not sure what he makes off of being his agent. I don't know. I'm not sure. If he makes something, then more power to him. But I would imagine it wouldn't be as much based on this amount that he's getting from Adidas. Reggie Rose basically worked the deal where Adidas is going to pay him and not his brother. Is that love or what? Like, he could have easily negotiated whatever deal and said, okay, well, you're going to make $175 million. You have to pay me this as your manager, even though we're family. He had Adidas pay him $250 to $300 as a consultant. Also, they also negotiated that Derrick Rose's best friend since sixth grade, Randall Hampton, gets paid $50,000 to $75,000 as a consultant. And lastly, Adidas contributes $150,000 annually to the AAU team of Derrick Rose's choice. Lastly, Derrick Rose gets private use use of a private plane. So, basically, Derrick, that's the best contract I've ever heard. I know LeBron's contract is probably pretty ill. I would assume. I'm assuming LeBron's new contract with Nike, especially if he becomes like the all-time leading scorer, may have some incentives in there. I'm assuming that it might be pretty crazy. Like Derrick Rose has one in here, has a stipulation here where he doesn't make as much. He like gets a knockdown from his deal if he doesn't make an All-Star game, for example. But it's like $4 million, right? But that can be made up in appearance fee. So if he shows up somewhere for an appearance, he can make that up basically. So if you don't make an All-Star game, you have to do more footwork or whatever to basically offset that. Really? I just want to tip my hat to Derrick Rose for that, or Reggie Rose or whoever, because I feel like if more athletes had those type of friends or family looking out for them, then more of them will be in like great situations today, like perfect situations. Because I feel like if your best friend's on payroll making $50,000 to $75,000 a year because of your contract from Adidas, he can go invest or do whatever he needs to do, and he's fine. And if he comes to you for money, like, no, bro, like, I literally gave you a job. You're my consultant, assistant, like whatever that means. That's what you're supposed to be doing. He also gave his brother negotiated $300,000. You hear about these people that get like out hustled by these alleged financial managers that pop up when they're suddenly famous, right? Like suddenly everyone's a financial manager when you're famous or when you're popular. Everyone knows money. But Reggie Rose basically made Adidas like, hey, you guys are gonna pay me. You guys are going to pay me basically for my brother being this good. And I can't take my hat off more to like that's really impressive, because I hear so much about athletes going broke. Allen Iverson had to give a whole bunch of his friends money and bring them to every game, and just it's really saddening. So to see something like this, Derrick Rose, you won, dude. Even though he doesn't care about money, and I'm sure he much rather play basketball. And for people that like say things like he cares about the money because or else blah blah, like of course he cares about money. He likes for his lights to be on. He likes to eat salmon whenever he wants to. He likes to have the best physical therapy possible, but I'm sure he much rather have like half of that and just play basketball because that's what he loves to do. And then that can be depressing. I just know that like you can't retire if it's going to cost you $90 million. Like you can't, you have to keep playing. That's where we're at. Sorry. I know you don't care, but like they void it if you retire. So you got to play, bro. You got to play. That's just where we're at with it. Sorry. Like you got to play. I know you don't care about money, but yo, you got to play, especially because, you know, it's interesting, right? Because if he doesn't do it and like it voids his contract, there's a lot of people that are important. So, and it's not like he makes a bunch of money then has to pay people money out of his own pocket, right? With his contract is paying AAU teams and paying his best friend and paying his brother. So he's basically running a company in a smart way, though, not in a way where, all right, I have my bank account and I gave all my friends ATM cards. They can have as much money as they want. No, not that way. He basically runs Adidas, right? He runs Adidas. He has his own branch of Adidas, and he has 3 employees. He's got his brother, he's got his best friend, he's got AAU teams. I love it. Congratulations, Derrick Rose. I think that's awesome. This day in NBA history, in 1987, in Seattle, Michael Jordan started at the opposite foul line to get a running start and took off from near the foul line to dunk without touching the floor in the Nestle Crunch Slam Dunk competition. So this is like when MJ jumped from the free throw line, February 7th, 1987. A while ago. This was 30 years ago? Wow, hey, 30 years ago today. 30 years ago today, Michael Jordan jumped from the free throw line. He just took off. Just soared from the whole free throw line. And that is the Jordan logo, I believe. I could be wrong. I tried to find out if that was a Jordan logo, but I couldn't really find it. Try to figure it out. But all I could find for Jordan logo was him actually wearing clothes in the park and jumping out a hoop. But I don't know if the Jordan logo is him wearing clothes and jumping out a hoop. I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't tell you. That's where we're at with that. So I have some bad news for you guys. I do have some bad news. I myself will be departing soon, and so Friday will be my last show. The GSMC basketball podcast will be taken over by Jesse. He currently does GSMC sports and GSMC football. He's an awesome guy, incredibly knowledgeable, massive amounts of intelligence. You guys think I have a couple stats here and there? This guy knows his stuff. Great to listen to. Got a nice voice, very entertaining. It has been great. I'm going to make sure I do my absolute best to give you guys the best show that I can give you on Friday. I do that every day. However, Friday show, I'm going to make sure I do my absolute best to make sure that when you guys send me off, that it can be something memorable, because I greatly appreciate all the time that you give me, all the time you let me spend inside of your ears 3 times per week. It's been great. I've had an amazing time. This is what we're going to do today. I'm going to wish you the best. I'm going to say have a happy hump day. Watch for potholes. Live long and prosper. Oh, wait, let me give you a game of the night. I'm so sorry. I was going to just run off, not give you guys a game of the night. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. I'm sorry. I got kind of in my emotions about leaving you guys, and then the next thing I know, I'm about to grab the tissue and all this, and then I forgot to get the game of the night. Anyway, game of the night is going to be the Houston Rockets versus the Miami Heat. Both teams are healthy, and I keep telling you guys to go ahead and watch these Heat, man. The Heat don't have big names, so people, they don't hear a lot about them, but they're ballers. I'm telling you, the Heat are like the Grizzlies. Can I say that? Yeah, because the Grizzlies made it to a conference final, right? I believe. Okay, the Heat are like the Grizzlies. They don't have big names yet, but They've got a nice team, though. They've got a nice team. So you can check that out tonight. Go ahead and check it out. Of course, you get to watch the Heat play, and you get to watch James Harden put on a show because he's a beast. With that, you guys have a great hump day. Live long, prosper, watch for follows. I will see you on Friday. I'll have some stuff for you. Take care.